how to sell faster. I'm picking up today's episode from where I left off on yesterday's episode, and talking about how to get faster results out of your marketing efforts. And this just sort of seemed like a natural piece to put on the back of that. So we can consider this maybe like a part two of a two-part series, if you will. How to sell faster. I'm going to share a few of my experiences with trying to expedite the sales cycle, which, unlike the marketing cycle, can be a shorter tail, if you will, versus marketing, which tends to be a longer tail or requires more time. But before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to Scott, who I haven't heard from for a while. Scott, thanks for the text message. It was nice to hear from you, and I hope you are doing okay. And Dan, who is a faithful listener, and I almost get a daily text from him, and he tells me what he thinks of what I had spoken about in any given episode. So shout out to you too, plus the other folks that seem to use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is kind of the place where folks are looking me up, and I'm having some great conversations and meeting some interesting people outside of my local network, which is very cool. So thanks for that. So let's get into this episode of How to Sell Faster. Where we left off yesterday is I had tried to make the case that there's an amount of work and money that needs to be spent in order to get your message to the marketplace. And if your market is really large, then it's going to take a lot of money and a lot of time. If you can shrink your market down, then you can take the same money and the same time and get the result faster. So that's how you can speed up your marketing results. And then I also laid out the case that for the amount of money you have to spend marketing your business to attract clients, you're probably going to have to spend that same amount of money and time selling to them. And kind of the rationale there, in my experience, is if you have to work really, really hard, by definition, I need to get in front of my clients 10 times before they will walk in the front door. That's kind of the conventional, widely accepted marketing principle. I don't know how true it is, but certainly my experience has been there's a lot of exposure to your audience that is needed before you are finally able to attract somebody that wants to engage with you. Now, if you have to spend a lot of time and effort to get the 10 times in front of your marketplace, when they finally walk in the front door, your sales team or your sales activities are now going to involve educating them and comparing yourself to the competition, creating some relational goodwill and expending effort, which cost money and time, in order to convince them to ultimately turn into revenue. And so I said, if you had a great marketing offer and you were able to reduce the number of times you had to get in front of your audience in order to get them in the front door, then that would mean that your sales team is going to have an easier time converting that customer into revenue. And the premise of my argument, and based on my experiences, the stronger your offer, the less times you need to get in front of your marketplace to get them in the front door. And when they come in the front door, if your offer is really strong, then they end up closing faster, and you don't have to spend a lot of time waiting for them to convert. So how do you sell faster then? And just kind of, if we follow the line of thinking along, then the first answer that I've had to struggle with is you got to improve your marketing. For the amount of effort you don't put into your marketing, all you're doing is putting the weight on your sales. And as a quick recap, I know there can be some confusion about sales and marketing being the same thing. In my experience, I have never considered them the same thing. I've always thought of marketing as one-to-many, my business to our potential customers, and sales being one-to-one, our business to the specific customer that has now come through the front door. And so to the extent that you're not going to put a lot of effort into marketing, then you're just shifting the load to your sales team. To the extent that you put a little bit of effort into marketing, you lighten the load on the sales team. To the extent that you put a lot of effort into marketing, you lighten the load incredibly for your sales team. So there's no way to avoid, in my opinion, there's no way to avoid the workload. You just have to figure out where do you want to spend it and where's the best return. My experience teaches me that the better a job you can do on the marketing end, the easier it is to get the sales. And if I only had $10 to spend, I probably would spend it on marketing, and I would create and take time to make sure that I've understood the problem we're solving, the type of customer we're trying to market to, and then when the customer walked in the front door, we would simply convert them. That would be like an ideal world. So I think there's more leverage on marketing dollars than there are on sales dollars, but in my past, I've also wrestled with marketing is such a long game. It feels like if I do something on Tuesday, Wednesday morning, I'm not going to see the results. Where with sales, you sort of feel like because you are talking to a specific individual as opposed to the marketplace, and they're giving you feedback, either in the form of not opening your email, not returning your phone call, you kind of feel like you have some control over it. And so I've always wrestled with how long marketing takes, and have falsely thought that sales is by nature a faster exercise. And I just have come to appreciate now with enough experience that simply isn't true. So if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, and you're trying to figure out how to sell quicker, how to shorten your sales cycle, how to get a better result from whatever your marketing activities are bringing in. And none of these things need to be complex, by the way. But if you're looking to sell faster, my first suggestion is, my experience teaches me, put some effort into marketing. Really understand the message you're trying to deliver, the audience that you're trying to talk to, and the problem that you're trying to solve. And so as I work my way through my own thinking, by improving marketing, that means that you are, this would be my second answer. How do you sell faster? It would be understanding who exactly your business is trying to work with. And on the sales side, I have worked in a lot of different sales environments. I've worked underneath some incredible salesmen, and there's a lot of content about how to sell better, so I'm not going to pretend to be a sales guru. I'm just sharing my experience. My experience has been that the best salespeople are able to take the solution or the problem that the company is solving for a potential customer, and they are able to speak to that a little differently depending on who they're actually engaging with. So I've been part of sales organizations where everybody gets exactly the same sentence. Marketing brings in everyone and their dog. The sales team then uses the exact same script, material, email follow-ups, etc., to speak to 10 different types of potential customers, and they end up getting a very average result. When I've worked with really great sales teams and really great sales environments, the marketing was able to drag in the target customer, but then even when the customer comes in the front door, the salesperson has been able to customize how they engage with that customer based on getting even more granular and specific about what that potential customer is actually looking for. And then all of those efforts just produce a better result. In fact, it's monumentally better. It requires, again, there's a certain amount of work to be done. You just have to figure out where you want to do it. So improve your marketing to get the right people in the door. And then when they come in the door, make sure to treat them uniquely based on who they are and what your business can offer them. And so that sort of flows into my third point, which would be, if you want to sell faster, then you need to understand the exact problem that your business is solving. I have fallen prey, and I have been guilty of thinking on a very generic level with the businesses that I've been involved in the past, and every day I'm still working very hard to keep drilling down and understand what is the exact problem that I'm solving with our business in the marketplace. It typically starts out like, if you talk to me and 9 other businesses, we probably would all say the same thing, but I'm trying to discover how can we continue to get more granular about the specific problem that we solve. So for example, in our construction business, we would say we are in the abatement and demolition business. Well, there's lots of companies in the abatement and demolition business, but we don't do residential. So we are in, and we don't do industrial. We can do residential, we can do industrial, but just because we can do it doesn't mean that is what we're trying to focus on. We are focused on commercial, and specifically jobs that are going to be somewhere between $50,000 and $200,000. That is exactly our snack bracket. And those jobs are going to be less than 3 weeks in nature. And then from there, I could nerd out and tell you the rest of the math, but by understanding exactly what we do, we are able to quickly understand when opportunities come across our desk, how to filter them, how to quickly pick the ones that we want, get rid of the ones that we don't. And I know that I've gotten into some pretty heated conversations in past consulting opportunities where people on the teams have said, Dylan, we're going to just take money from everybody and it's all the same, so why does it matter? I personally have never agreed with that. I think that a small business has a limited amount of resources, time and money in particular, and you have to be very good at understanding who exactly your customer is, what exactly you can do for them. And if you want to make the most money possible, You need to be able to define that and say no to the business that's going to waste your time and yes to the business that you're very, very good at. And that seems counterintuitive because most entrepreneurs, or certainly for me, you're so desperate to get revenue or to get customers that you can start making trade-offs. And if you can afford yourself a little bit of patience and a little bit of fortitude, you might discover that saying no to one customer creates the opportunity to say yes to 2 others. And so how do you sell faster? I believe, based on my experience, that you do a better job of marketing and understanding who your business is trying to work with and what problem your business is solving for that customer. And if you can do all of that, while it may sound a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? It may sound a little bit non-actionable, like, okay, Dylan, that's great. I've heard that 1,000 times, but I'm telling you in my own experience, the more work I've done marketing what it is we do by by understanding what problem we're solving in the marketplace, not what solution we're offering, but what problem are we solving, and understanding which customers we want to work with that have that problem. By the time our marketing efforts begin generating results, it hits the sales end of our business and it goes much, much faster. And we are able to, of course, earn better margins. Cash flow becomes a little easier. As soon as I deviate from that plan, I kind of let my foot off the gas on the marketing side. I push the burden to sales, and then sales is having to work harder to get customers through the door. And then you get the customers you don't want and you don't make as much money on them. The whole thing just becomes a mess. So in a perfect world, I've learned, take the time to do a great job marketing your business. If you can figure out how to market your business with a really strong offer that speaks specifically to the type of customer you want and the problem you are solving for them, as your customer works there, as your prospect works their way through your sales funnel, it'll go much, much faster. Your business will be more enjoyable because you're working with the people that your business is designed to work with, and your financial statements will thank you. So that's my experience. Yesterday, I talked about how to speed up marketing results. Today, I thought it was appropriate to talk about how to speed up sales results. I'm always interested to hear what you're doing in your business. What are some tricks or some hacks that you have used to address this same problem? How has your business learned to sell faster today than maybe it did a year ago? Reach out to me if you want to talk about your business. I would love to learn more about what it is you do, because I learn that when I talk to entrepreneurs and business owners that are not in the same businesses that I am in, I learn a lot, because conceptually everything is the same, but how it gets applied practically is very, very helpful. And so reach out to me. Again, LinkedIn seems to be the way to do that. There's some links in the show notes that if you wanted to maybe jump on a call or a video call, I'd be happy to do that as well. And if you're a business owner trying to figure out how to become an investor by removing yourself over time from your business, I'd love to chat with you about that, because that's exactly what I have spent the last couple of years doing and will spend the next couple of years doing. So thank you for tuning in to today's episode, and I sure hope that you'll check in again.